Good evening to all of you, and thank you for joining us on 13 Plus. I'm Mary Coleman. In this week's Crime Files, fentanyl continues to be an issue that plagues the entire country, and many of it is being found here on our southern border. In this week's 13 Crime Files, we speak with those in charge of testing those drugs to ensure those responsible for bringing them into the country are brought to justice.
The bad guys try to do whatever's going to work.
Criminals continue to sneak fentanyl and other drugs into the United States, many times through the Mariposa port of entry in Nogales.
With all the seizures that are happening at the ports of entry, especially when fentanyl became a big thing, and it was such low concentration, sometimes samples were being seized and they weren't getting analyzed for a really long time, and sometimes they were negative. So it was important to be able to give a quick answer as to what controlled substances were present in samples.
In 2019, CBP started putting operating labs at the ports of entry. They've been busy ever since, doing real-time analysis of the substances seized.
So that way we know right off the bat, within 24 hours, whether the drug that was seized is a controlled substance or not. And that's helped with prosecutions, and it's helped just get the right answer out there more quickly for our seizures.
The lab has seen a significant increase in testing since opening. On average, the lab tests about 60 samples per month. In a busier month, they can test more than 100.
Fentanyl is a huge problem across the nation. State and local has problems with it. We have problems with it at our southwest border, especially the ports of Nogales in Arizona and San Ysidro and Otay Mesa in California. A lot of fentanyl's coming into the country.
While the main job for those who work in this lab is to test the drugs, they are also working to look at emerging threats to try to get ahead of any other deadly substances.
Can we start to look at the seizures and build connections between them? Like maybe different bricks are stamped the same way. Are those chemically the same? Are they being produced in the same place? So we don't really have the answers to that yet, but we have partnered with the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Food and Drug Administration to kind of study this.
Fentanyl is the first substance that the task force is looking at, trying to get a better understanding of how the seizures are connected so the agencies can target the criminals involved.
And we're trying to solve this problem together, and it's been very, very exciting. And we're on the forefront of everything that's coming in the country, working at this Nogales port of entry.
And in our second story for this evening, mold is a common problem in some rental properties, and it can pose a serious risk to the tenants who live there. A Mesa woman says within days of moving here to Tucson, her rental home made her sick. 13 News reporter Rebecca Taylor looks at renters' rights in Arizona and what tenants can do about mold.
If you find mold in your rental, your landlord has a legal responsibility to address it. Holly Reynoso held hers accountable and got out of her lease.
The more I was in the house, I'm like, what is this smell?
At first, Holly Reynoso chalked it up to old carpet, but then
I was starting to get rashes, getting lightheaded, dizzy.
That's when someone at work encouraged her to inspect water sources in the home.
So underneath here in that cavity, which we can't see, is where there's a huge panel of black mold that was being pulled through the AC and just showered all over us.
Reynoso took pictures and video and immediately notified the property management company. Reynoso says they sent a remediation company out and determined the home is habitable but recommended treatment. She stayed a few more days in the house but ultimately moved to a hotel and requested to terminate her lease, which was granted. What can other renters in a similar situation do? Arizona law states that if an issue is affecting health and safety, like hazardous mold, a tenant can give a written notice to the landlord. The notice needs to outline the needed repairs. If they're not complete within 5 days, the renter can terminate the lease.
And then if the landlord doesn't cure, then you can move out, or you can sue for damages or for a court order to fix it.
Alan Solat is a managing attorney with Southern Arizona Legal Aid. He says it's crucial to document everything, including when you notified your landlord and their response.
Don't withhold your rent because you're not getting what you paid for, and do it in writing according to the terms of the lease when you communicate with your landlord.
So you really have to advocate for yourself and just, be hyper vigilant or aware.
In order to get a refund for rent and deposits she paid, Reynoso was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that's why 13 News is not revealing the address or name of the property management company. For more on renters' rights and tenant help programs, head to KOLD.com. For 13 Plus, I'm Rebecca Taylor.
Well, friends, we hope you're having a great Tuesday so far, and we leave you with a live look from our Mount Bigelow cam. We hope you'll join us for 13 News live at 9 and 10 for more of your news and weather headlines. Until then, have a great evening.